Welcome to Topic 2 of the Home-Based Orientation course. Within this topic, we're going to be providing some general information and a definition of home-based services. We'll discuss who is eligible to receive these services and talk about how services are delivered. We'll also discuss some general attendance considerations and the teacher qualifications. We'll start with just an overview of what home-based services are, how services are both determined and delivered. Home-based instruction is the most restricted placement an IEP team can recommend. The instruction may not always be in the home, but an alternate community location such as a library or non-school-based facility can be identified for the family, student, and home-based teacher to meet. Who is eligible for the services? Students with an existing IEP who typically have been separated from their home school due to a disciplinary panel may be recommended for home-based services. The decision for home-based placement is a significant one since it is the most restrictive placement. The IEP team, when making this decision, needs to carefully consider the individual needs of the student, the duration of the home-based services, and the specific hours and content that will be addressed while on home-based services. Students who have attended GIVE but have not been successful within that setting may as a result be dismissed from GIVE. In those cases, an IEP may be revised to reflect the decision for home-based services. In some unique cases, there may be an IEP decision for home-based services outside of a disciplinary panel or GIVE dismissal due to unique individual circumstances of a student. In these cases, a special education coordinator must be involved. The coordinator should be contacted prior to the IEP meeting for guidance so that the IEP team can plan appropriately. The majority of GCPS students on home-based are middle or high school students. However, we do serve elementary level students when it is determined by an IEP team as a necessary model for instruction. How many classes can a student take? The number of hours and specific courses provided within home-based instruction is based on the IEP committee decision. The academic schedule, specific classes, and hours per week of instruction needed for each course is listed within the IEP services section. Typically, when a student is placed on home-based services, they are not able to attend site-based services at all. As a result, the IEP team may need to consider both special education classes as well as general education classes when determining hours and courses. Who provides the assignments? The School of Record remains responsible for instructional assignments, content, and grades. The School of Record is the school the child is attending just prior to his separation from school-based services. If the student has not attended GIVE, the special education manager at the local school is responsible for collecting and providing to the assigned home-based teacher all assignments for all courses the student is taking. An important first step in the process is for the assigned home-based teacher and the student's case manager to develop a weekly or bi-weekly schedule for picking up and dropping off assignments. If a student has attended GIVE but is dismissed, GIVE will remain the school of record and provide the assignments and grades until the student is scheduled to return to their home school. An important thing to remember is the pickup and drop-off of assignments at the GIVE centers. Due to the number of GIVE students recommended for home-based services, there is a very organized manner in which assignments can be picked up and dropped off from these two locations. You will work directly with Ellen Tolles for pickup and drop-off of all assignments for students enrolled at GIVE West. Charlotte Wood will be your contact person for GIVE East. Both Ellen and Charlotte will review with you the specific process for picking up work for their locations. As a reminder, GCPS employees cannot leave their campus during their regular working contract hours to address any home-based related issues. You will need to pick up and drop off assignments either before or after your regular working hours. How are students counted present? State law requires a minimum of 3 hours of direct instruction in order for a student to be counted present for a week of instruction. The expectation is that the instruction is directly provided on a one-to-one basis. The students are also expected to complete additional work left by the home-based teacher between visits. 3 hours of direct instruction in a home-based model is the minimum number of hours an IEP team can recommend while still accounting for the student being present for a full week of instruction. Some additional notes about attendance. If a family cancels a session, the home-based teacher is not required to reschedule the session. However, it is best practice to attempt to reschedule if possible. If a home-based teacher cancels a session, it is required for the teacher to reschedule and make up that session. Home-based teachers are asked to track the hours of service per week as well as the total amount of hours a student should receive during the contract period. The School of Record is responsible for maintaining the attendance record for students who are receiving home-based services. For home-based students, attendance over the overall period of time they are on home-based can be considered. For example, if a student is scheduled to receive 6 hours of weekly instruction, but due to conflicts you are only able to schedule and complete 2 hours in that week, however, the next week you scheduled the full 6 hours. Over those 2 weeks, the student received 8 hours of instruction, so would not be marked absent for any of that time during those 2 weeks. It is important for home-based teachers to maintain accurate record keeping of scheduled visits, attempts to contact family and cancel visits. We track and document the total number of hours of instruction per month, as well as the total amount of student receives while on home-based services. This information is shared with the local school case manager so that attendance can be recorded appropriately. We'll talk more about attendance requirements and the process of keeping accurate attendance logs in topic 3. How are services delivered? Home-based instruction is active, direct, face-to-face, one-to-one instruction for the number of hours as listed on the IEP. The home-based teacher is responsible for the direct interaction and teacher-directed instruction for the content provided by the teacher of record at the local school. Home-based instruction is not a delivery service of instructional materials. It is a direct instruction model. Home-based teachers are required to wear their GCPS ID badges, whether in the home setting or in an alternate community setting. This is for your safety and security. In some cases, the IEP team may recommend GCPS teleclass as a delivery model and/or a combination of home-based and teleclass. This is quite rare as the level of self-motivation, organization, and responsibility is quite high for students receiving instruction through the teleclass model. The home-based teacher in these placement situations would only be responsible for the hours and courses listed in the home-based instruction model. What are the qualifications to be a home-based teacher? You must be a GCPS employee and hold current Georgia certification. The state does not require that a home-based teacher be certified within all individual subjects that the teacher will be addressing. Certification can be either general education or special education. When we assign a teacher, we do try to match students with teachers whose experience, certification, and current position are a good fit. Prior to assigning a student, we include the student's courses within our communication and requests for teachers. It is very important that you review the courses and only agree to serve students that you feel you can effectively deliver the instruction. For example, if a student is taking physics and pre-calc, but you are an elementary teacher with limited math science experience, this might not be the student for you to take. You are now ready to move on and complete the Topic 2 checkpoint activity. This is a 9-question quiz about the information we have just covered within this topic. You will need to obtain an 85% on the quiz before moving to Topic 3, which is getting started and set up.